Alright guys, we're back with Shaggy Small Engines. Um, I wasn't able to get the video surveyed as far as the removal of the tube, but this is basically a follow-up. The valve stem that came in these, this is kind of an old tube, it ripped out of this 16 by 6.5 by 8 tractor tire for Project Warlock. Project Warlock, for those of y'all that don't know, is a modified late 80s, early 90s Wizard with a 12-horse engine on it currently, but that may change in the future for a future project. I've taken the deck off of it, and I know that everything works, the brakes, the transmission, everything like that, but during a test run, it shredded the tube out of the inner tube for the valve stem. So today, I've got a pack of 2 replacement valve stems for this tire, or replacement tubes, sorry. Replacement tubes for this tire. Now, for those of y'all that don't know how to put it in an inner tube, this tube will fit this tire. But the gist is going to be, we got to line up the valve stem and then get to inflating. The gist is going to be getting the tube inside here and lining up your valve stem and then putting it back on to where the tire will set the bead. And because these are tubeless tires, it's not going to be super hard to get this on. I just got to rotate the tube, orifice tube, valve stem, however you want to word it. I have to rotate it around, line it up first before I start packing in this other half of this tube. You see, I took off this cap. The reason I did so is so that way I can use it as an anchor before I run the rest of this tube around this rim. And there she blows. Alright, now the next step is going to be walking this back around. Because it's a tubeless tire, the removal, unfortunately y'all didn't get to see, but all I basically used for the removal was a long bar flathead, kind of like the pry bar, and a bottle of PB Blaster. Now again, we're going to use the PB Blaster. I'm going to coat it generously. What I'm going to do is I'm basically going to use my flathead as neatly as possible to walk this around. And I don't usually recommend doing these to where you need a flathead, because tube tires, there's a good deal that you can puncture with a tube tire, but you just really honestly have to be careful with it. Hear any more air leaking out. Okay, guys, so when I put air in this tube, I noticed that there was a small inseam slit that wasn't sealed properly. It's a manufacturer defect. Luckily, we had a second tube, went ahead and went to replacing that, and we're going to go ahead and move right into that. Um, there was no issue with the flathead. Like I said, be careful if you use a flathead or a pry bar because you can damage the inner tube and then spend more money. So what we're going to do is we're going to transition on into the second tube and we'll go from there. All right. Then we come back over this way. Position y'all right here. Now we've actually got this setup done. How these rims are set up on the Wizard is they have to be aired up from the inside. Give me a second, I have to get a flathead. And as you can see. Alright guys, now what we're doing now is we didn't realize that the camera actually had stopped. But what's going on now is we went ahead and put the tire on. It used a standard C-clip for that shaft, which of course has the gash in the end of the shaft. When we installed the wheel, we noticed that some of the spacing washers had actually been removed off the shaft, which causes about an inch displacement on that left side wheel. So later on down the road, it'll end up being my wife's project. She's already kind of sort of quote unquote claimed it. And what happened is she said she wanted to take it over because it's a smaller size lawnmower, smaller size engine. She doesn't want to do a throttle pedal like a go-kart. She'd rather keep the standard throttle lever like a normal lawnmower does with a choke on it. And that's kind of just where she's at. She wanted something that would pretty much take over all the terrain it could, um, and still get out there with something more custom like what I'm building over at my buddy Flying Brian's garage. So that being said, we're going to go into the test video. This is basically, it doesn't have a deck on it. I do actually have the deck, but it was kind of rotten to the point where we didn't have the ability to fix it, which it'd take a lot of patch welds and some parts we just don't have. So we're going to dive into kind of the test run video, and that'll be the end of it for part one. So y'all check it out. So basically, this is going to be just kind of the part one for Project Warlock. To sum it up, it's a 12 horsepower built Briggs & Stratton engine. It does not have a fuel shutoff on it right now, but it does have a standard Kohler style acorn shell shaped filter. I don't know the technical term for that filter. I call it an acorn because it's what it looks like. It looks like an acorn somebody stuck a stick through. Now, we've installed the fuel filter. It's got brand new fuel lines. The tank's actually set up fine. Tank's been cleaned out. Everything works.
Later on down the road, I'll show you how to install a fuel shutoff. It's very simple. Um, excuse me. We might end up doing some fuel change or oil changes down the road, and then we'll go ahead and transition over to more customization of this lawnmower, and we'll get it set up for my wife. I'm 6 foot tall and 289 pounds. My wife, on the other hand, is near about the exact opposite. She weighs significantly less than me, and she's about a foot and 2 inches shorter than me. So we're gonna kind of set that smaller lawnmower up to where she can get out there with us. And it's a very strong running lawnmower. It doesn't really need to be any faster. It's just gonna kind of be the beat 'em up tank, you know. And then we'll get into a more custom build later on down the road for something that I'm doing. And y'all come check us out. But hey, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't forget to follow me on Facebook. On Facebook, I'm under Shaggy's Repairs. I try to make a post every day. Occasionally, you'll see me put out a video. But mostly on YouTube is where I go. If you have any questions that you might need to ask me, maybe I can help get some diagnosing done. Uh, if you don't mind me, providing my advice. Other than that, y'all don't get none on you. We'll see you next time.